Is Julius Malema, his message, being misunderstood by South Africans? Let us talk about it. Guys, as you all know that Julius Malema was invited in Nigeria last week, where he gave a bold speech in front of thousands of Nigerians and all Africans who were gathered over there. Julius Malema, in his message, he said this:
we must make sure that no single corner of Africa there are guns where Africans are killing each other. Africans must always be together against the enemy forces who want to exploit our country. We are here today to reclaim our land. We want the land of Africa to be returned to Africa because it belongs to the Africans. We want the minerals of Africa to be returned to the Africans because that's where they belong. We want to build industries in Africa and process our minerals here in Africa. We've got the capacity. We must never allow the imperialist forces to divide us in order to take our minerals from us. We demand one Africa. We demand borderless Africa. We demand Africa with one president, with one currency, with one military command, with one parliament, because we know the currency of Africa will be much more stronger against the American currency. We don't care what Trump thinks of us. He will never choose a policy position for Africans. We are not subject of Trump. We must refuse to be subjects of Trump. We must stand together as the world changes and show the world that Africa is one and Africa is equal to all nations, to China, to Russia, to America. We are not just a small nation. We are a big nation. We are not a dark continent. How can we be dark when we've got diamond that is shining amongst us? We are a shining nation. I thank you.
This bold speech of Julius Malema, it was welcomed by millions of Africans all over around the world, especially in Africa continent. But unfortunately, this message, it is not welcome in South Africa by South Africans. This speech of Julius Malema, it is being criticized by South Africans, saying that how can someone such as a Julius Malema going out to preach for the unity of African, yet in his own country he could not be able to be united with his fellow South African, such as the Mkhonto party of Jacob Zuma. Some they even went far, saying that what kind of example is Julius Malema trying to preach here when his home is on fire, yet is going out to call for the unity of Africans. Guys, this have raised a serious debate on social media's platforms, because some they are saying, how could Julius Malema go out there and ask for the unity of Africans, yet he considered his fellow black South Africans such as Jacob Zuma as the enemy. These same people, they are accusing Julius Malema of considering the MK party as their big enemy in South Africa politics.
People say, why would Malema declare MK as an enemy? Anyone who wants to kill the EFF is an enemy. I don't care whether you are black or white. As long as you are tending to kill the EFF, you are the enemy. They say, oh, Malema says we must support Chidima, but we must not support Zuma. Chidima never wanted to kill EFF. Zuma wants to kill the EFF. That's why we must not support him. That is the difference. Anyone who recruits from amongst us, anyone who wants to kill this organization is the enemy of the people. Only the EFF can unite Africans in South Africa, in Africa, and in the diaspora. There is no any other organization that can destroy the EFF.
But the question is, how did we get here? Why the message of Julius Malema is being misunderstood by the South Africans? Why the MK party is being considered as the enemy of the EFF? Why is it impossible for black South Africans to be united? And what do we need to do in order for us to be united not only in South Africa but all over Africa continent?
We need a borderless continent. We need a continent with one currency. We need a continent with one parliament which has got teeth and it will bite and hold the executives in countries accountable. And ultimately, we need one African president. We need United States of Africa.
It is not a problem of Zimbabwe. It is not a problem of Nigeria. It is a problem of self-hate. We must begin to love ourselves. Then we'll never have a problem anyway. So, charity begins at home. The hatred of a black skin must stop here in South Africa and all over Africa. There is no Botswana, there is no Swaziland, there is no Lesotho. We are one family. They went to meet and took a decision to divide us and imposed borders on us because they are threatened by African unity.
We must make sure that this Africa is linked together. We must violently demolish the borders that exist between our countries, because those are not our borders. You cannot worship a border between Tanzania and Kenya and come and sit in this hall and say you are a pan-Africanist. A pan-Africanist means the first task is to get rid of colonial borders so that we bring Africa together in practical terms.
This is the true identity of Julius Malema, which we all know him for. Julius Malema never changed after all these years when it comes to African border policy. Even though some of those who were with him yesterday, they have changed their languages.
So there's a huge difference between Pan-Africanism, progressive Pan-Africanism, and undocumented migration. It's not the same thing. So we wrote the founding manifesto of the EFF, and it is clearly distinguished that we should advocate for the gradual integration of the African continent so that the economy functions clearly for everyone. There is nowhere that say there must be undocumented illegal immigration. But you'll have a person who will go and say during elections like, that if you are going to be xenophobic, if you don't want these people, you must go and hide your vote, go and jump with your vote.
But I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared to take a platform and say foreigners must go home. I would rather not be a president of South Africa. I'll be a president of my children at home. We'll practice cabinet there. No, I don't want. If this thing has cost us municipalities, and people who say I must resign, I will resign. For Africans, I will resign. For black people, I will resign. I have no problem.
And unprovoked. Even when there is no question about that. And that time, majority of the people are saying, we have got a problem with undocumented people here in our society. And then so I don't care. And that time you want to lead society, but you don't care about what people say. Even if you can be correct, you can't override the views of the majority. Every time the views of the majority are correct.
Well, they choose to leave the EFF and giving the reason of saying that Mkonto Wezizwe party under the leadership of Jacob Zuma, it is the only political party in South Africa which can unite black South Africans.
Comrades, don't worry about leaders of black political parties that say they do not want unity with MK. We are going to unite voters underneath them and leave them alone as leaders. We have already started. In KwaZulu-Natal. We unite the voters and then we leave a shell there. People will just speak forever, talking to nothing. This unity that we are asking for, we're not breaking it. We're demanding unity of black people so that we can bring about liberation. And if leaders don't want to unite, we're going to unite the voters. Our people know what they want. Our people can see that these are charlatans. Thomas Sankara saw this long time ago. Amilcar Cabral saw this thing long time ago. Kwame Nkrumah saw it long time ago. That the enemies of progress are those who are going to fight against unity of progressive black forces. Those are enemies of progress. And then they find comfort.
Floyd Shivambu proposed and Julius Malema disposed.
Una le leqheku ko Natala kwa le re ba re ke Zuma le re le batla unity le ba rena reunite le Zuma. We will never unite with Zuma who wants to kill the EFF. Will never unite with MK that exists to destroy the EFF. We are not friends to the enemies of the EFF. Whether Trump says the same thing about the two of us, we don't care. We must never be tempted to unite with the agents who want to destroy the EFF.
Now, here's the interesting part. Why is Julius Malema criticizing the proposal of Jacob Zuma and Floyd Shivambu and many more South Africans, black South Africans, who are believing that the true unifier of black South Africans, that will be Jacob Zuma? But Julius Malema is rejecting all this by saying this.
No old man with no track record of doing good to black people can claim that he can unite black people. Only the EFF has demonstrated that it has got capacity to unite black people. Only the EFF has got a track record of 11 years of unbroken struggle, fighting for the interest of the black people in South Africa. No organization, older or young, can claim the achievements that the EFF has made in 11 years. Because this EFF, from its inception, it has never been ashamed to be associated with black people and Africans in particular. Fighters, show me any organization that brought together in the past 11 years, that brought together almost 120,000 black people under one roof, speaking one language, determining their own destination together. No any other organization has ever done that except the EFF. What nonsensical unity are they talking about? What unity of Africans are you talking about when you have had almost 82 years to unite Africans? No organization in South Africa, in Africa, and in the diaspora can claim to unite Africans, because it is only EFF that can be found in Zimbabwe, in Mozambique, in Ghana, in Nigeria, in Liberia, in the whole of African continent. Because the true unity of African people lies with the unity of the EFF. The unity of Africa depends on the unity of the EFF. The liberation of black people in South Africa depends on the unity of the EFF. defend the unity of the EFF is the only one that can unify the whole of black nation all over South Africa, all over Africa.
That is the answer which Julius Malema have to give to all this proposal made by Mukonto Wesley's political party. Julius Malema believed that the unity of black South Africans, if there is one political party that will have done it, that will be the EFF under his leadership as Julius Malema, and not under other individual who comes from nowhere and then want to come and take over. That is where the problem lays.
Stop being lazy thinkers. Why would this guy be a dictator of old people? My simple thing of being re-elected unopposed, or all the time being elected unopposed, is very simple. I work very hard. I work very hard. I don't take anything for granted. You give it to me, I will work on it and perfect it. I pay attention to the smallest detail. I know everything that is happening in this conference. Smallest detail. Even if you want to hate me, you will come to accept that no, but it doesn't matter what we think of him. So I'm not a dictator, I'm a hard worker. I work hard. I come from nothing. I didn't dictate to anybody to be where I am here. I come from nothing. I come from a domestic worker who suffered from epilepsy, single mother. I worked my way up here, single-handedly, knowing where I come from. So I don't care who thinks what about me. Nothing. Because I know everything else I have, I've worked for it and I've earned it. It is those who can't defeat me who call me names that I'm a dictator. Thou better, when it comes to conference, thou better have. When it comes to conference, thou better against you.
Isn't it, this is very surprisingly. Those who were preaching us the gospel of the unity of Africa yesterday, today they seem to be changing their language and having the most popular language right now in South Africa politics. Because whether we like it or not, in our days in South Africa, in order for you to become popular, in order for you to gain some votes, you just have to speak against your fellow black people. You just have to speak against your fellow Africans. Then you will see yourself in which position that you find yourself after then. We have seen it with many politicians in South Africa.
And so let's take open borders. Why Mashaba did not get 10%? Because your measure of success, all of you, is 10%. That if you support an open border where there is African unity, you lose vote. Why didn't Mashaba get the votes? Why didn't get the Lepantiti get the votes? Because he jumped there, almost fainted. Mabahambe, mabahambe. He got nothing close to 10%. Mashaba and Gaten Mabahangbe group combined still don't come close to the EFF.
But they're not as old as the EFF.
And they still did not get what the EFF got when the EFF was their age. Don't forget that. So you must compare those things. Yeah. Don't be ahistorical.
So let's get to the truth of it. It's just that people must understand it's frustrating when you want action right now and you want things to happen. But this thing is so delicate that I'm telling you, what is going to come out of that? South Africans must be ready. This one is not get your popcorn ready. Go and get the popcorn factory ready, because this thing, the corruption is going to come out of there.
The worst part is, even though we can all see that these people, all they wanted from South Africans was their votes, because after South Africans have voted them, there is nothing changed on the field. Because we still have the same problem of illegal immigrants in South Africa. We still have the same problem of unemployment in South Africa. We still have everything which they were preaching us before. gaining our votes. And this is the same categories which Floyd Shivambu is taking right now by trying to criticizing the borderless policy in order for him to gain trust among South Africans who thinks that the real problem that we are facing in South Africa, it is foreigners. Even though yesterday when he was in the EFF, he could not be able to say the same thing because he knew the reason why he had joined the EFF.
Comrades, I salute you. I want to salute you because whether knowingly or unknowingly, you have been the first line of defense of our movement, as the constitution of the EFF demands of you. You did not listen to anyone who tried to persuade you into abandoning your constitutional obligation, which is to defend your organization. No one has the right to tell you how you must defend your organization. Only the Constitution must guide you, and not any level of manipulation by those who have turned their back on our struggle must convince you that you must be silent while our movement is under attack. Comrades, Section 6 of the EFF Constitution, which speaks to the principles of the EFF, is that is the only guide which we must all follow. There is no any other guide that we must follow except Section 6 of the Constitution of the EFF. When the organization is under attack, it is in Section 6, subsection 7b, where the EFF Constitution speaks to what it means to be loyal to the organization. This section states that loyalty to the organization means that at all times, members and leaders will not keep quiet when the organization is unfairly criticized and attacked in private and in public. That to betray this movement for personal reasons constitute an attack on our movement. Comrades, it is this section of the EFF Constitution that obligates all of us to speak out in private and in public and declare where we stand when the attack of abandoning this movement confronts us.
Guys, through my analysis, allow me to reveal one of the big secrets that make these two individuals go separate ways from what we all know that once united them. The problem here is not all about illegal immigrants or the unity of Africans, no. Because the truth here is that Floyd Shivambu had to leave the EFF because the EFF was taking long before they get to lead South Africa. As you all know that in the world of politics, as politicians with their political party, you have to do everything by all means to win power, to be in power, to be in charge, to be in control. Once you are in that position, you'll be able to succeed and achieve different goals as a personal or individuals. That is why if you look in African politics with politicians, you'll see them whenever they are not in power, they are more friendly, they are suffering like everyone. But once they become in power, they become something else. They'll start investing everywhere, stealing money and buying property and different things, because that is how politics works around the world. So obviously, those who had left the EFF, they had that ambitious. Proof to that, Julius Malema have to come and reveal some of the reasons which made us believe that this was why they chose to leave the EFF.
Comrades, today they say to you they were offered positions in the negotiations, and when they came to tell me, I denied them those positions and I went behind their back to speak to Cyril for me to become a deputy president. The answer is no. They were never offered any positions. Maybe in their imaginations, they imagined positions. There was never any position offered in the negotiations. We had never reached that level where we had to discuss positions.
Did Julius Malema call you and ask to get a position as one deputy president of the country?
To his credit, I must say, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. He never called me. Yes, we had a discussion. about how they could participate and what their desires would be, but not for himself. What has been bandied around was never articulated to me that he wanted a particular position, no. And if he did, then it was not articulated to me.
Vuyani was there. I was in Polokwane throughout the discussions of GNU. I was called by the Secretary General when the negotiations collapsed that you need to come back and apply your skills and find a way to reach out to these people that you worked with before, because we're not hearing each other. I was the first one, by the way, who said we need to join the GNU and even declared that in public. The only difference I had with them was that I will not join the GNU that has got a DA and Freedom Front Pass. Comrades, today they say to you they were offered positions in the negotiations, and when they came to tell me, I denied them those positions and I went behind their back to speak to Cyril for me to become a deputy president. Here is your Secretary General. Do not do it here. Do it silently in my absence. SG, were you ever offered any position in the negotiations? The answer is no. They were never offered any positions. Maybe in their imaginations, they imagined positions. There was never any position offered in the negotiation. We had never reached that level where we had to discuss positions. We have never. They must tell you who did. I'm saying this in public. Mbalula can contradict that if he wants and say we offered them 1, 2, 3. There was never such a thing.
South Africans are beginning to understand that without the unity of black South Africans, well, there is no one who will come out of this as a winner. Without the unity of black South Africans will continue suffering. Without the unity of black South Africans, we'll continue encountering all these bad things that we're seeing out there: crime, unemployment, name it, because the list is too long. But what is it that needs to be done? Before we get to discuss that, I want you first to understand that the unity of black South Africans, it is an excuse which politicians are bringing out in order for them to gain trust from the voters. Or should I say, the illegal immigrant in South Africa issue, which we are facing as a nation. It is one of the topics which each and individual out there who want to gain the vote from South Africans, they want to use it so that those who feel affected by this illegal immigrant that we are seeing in South Africa issues, they should come forward and support them. And once they are in power, they got limits, they got stuck, they are not able to do enough or to accomplish whatever they had promised to people of South Africa. On the other side, we are having a Julius Malema who's being criticized for calling for the unity of African.
In South Africa, they say to us, if you want to be elected, you must declare war on illegal immigrants. And illegal immigrants, they mean Africans. We have refused as the EFF that we will never declare war on any immigrant, illegal or legal. We tell them all the time, if they want to elect us on the basis of xenophobia, they can keep their votes. We are not disparate for votes. We are disparate for the unity of Africa. And that's what we want to achieve in our lifetime.
We're having a Julius Malema whom South Africans refusing to vote because he kind of like having a language or trying to speak in behalf of Africans and saying that no, the borders needs to be open in order for us to have a free circulation of merchandise and so on and so on. All these reasons, Julius Malema is being hurted for that. Julius Malema is being denied to become the president of South Africa, all because of that. Hence we said, we're having a problem of mentality.
We're not saying no foreigner must come and trade in South Africa, because Zimbabweans are no foreigners in South Africa, they're Africans. So that's why you are wrong in your joke to say we're all going to be South Africans. We're all going to go back to being Africans. Because that's the problem with you South Africans. You think you are a Europe of Africa, that you are not part of the continent. We need to go back to our continent and identify with it, and it must be borderless. And borderless does not mean criminality. Europeans have a borderless continent called Europe. They trade with ease. You can have a breakfast.
They travel with ease. They go to a football match the same night they back home.
You have breakfast in Milan in Italy and then sleep in London with no hassle. So, and then when it comes to us, because the unity of Africans threatens them, they say no.
This is a serious problem that our people need to be educated to understand the difference between an illegal foreigner and an immigrant who can be in the country for different reasons, who can be in the country maybe for a business or for a tourist, who can be in a country where maybe for bringing up, raising up the economy, if I have to put it that way. And we have a problem on how to help our people to understand what can be an illegal immigrant and what a government can do when it comes to illegal immigrants. As long this problem is not being addressed in the good way, as long no one is understanding all this, we'll keep on circulating on the same place. We'll keep on calling each other names. We'll keep on accusing each other. We'll keep on thinking that no, how come us as a black South Africans were not united? On the other side, we're having people such as Malema is busy even inviting these people, or is busy asking for us to be united with these people, when we all know that that's not the real issue. So, criticizing Malema's speech in Nigeria, it is a good thing. It is a free will which all of us we have. We can criticize. But at the same time, we must try to question ourselves this question. What if Malema's vision is right? Because whether we like it or not, Africa, we can't succeed to liberate ourselves from our former colonial or our oppressors if we are not yet being united. Because they always say that one finger can't wash the whole entire face. We need 5 fingers in order for us to wash our face even more clean. So, it is very important that we need to consider all these things. But at the same time, we need also to understand that when Malema called for the unity of Africa, it does not say that no, all Africans, brothers and sisters, they should come and move to South Africa. No. It does not either say that those who are here, they should remain here forever. No. I have listened to Malema for a couple of times, attend these different press of conferences and different events concerning these same matters. He have explained on how to deal with these things. He does not call Africans. You guys still remember Malema calling Zimbabweans to go back home so that they can go and fix their country.
We call on Zimbabweans to stop being cowards and confront Mnangagwa's government and go and reclaim their own country. They cannot continue to stay in South Africa as if they are enjoying life here. You will never enjoy life in somebody else's country. You can only enjoy life if you go home and remove ZANU-PF from power and arrest those who are stealing the gold of Zimbabwe.
That's not a person who wants these people to remain in South Africa forever. But wait, listen, we need to be serious here. And we should not let politicians to mislead us with the popular language, because that's what they've been doing for all this time. And people, they end up feeling like, no, because everyone that's talking about this on social media, on Twitter and so on, which means this is the way out because it makes sense. Forgetting about tomorrow. I believe the message is loud and clear. It was very important that we sit down and have this conversation with you to get to understand exactly why the message of Julius Malema is being misunderstood by South Africans. Thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video until now. We really do appreciate that. We're looking forward to see you again in our next video. But for now, continue to be yourself, be good, be kind. Don't forget to give us your thumbs up. I'll see you again in our next video. Bye bye.